Kelly. This morning, I do want to talk to families that may be going through with a loved one with a mental disorder or persistent sickness, chronic sickness that may be going through. So I'm going to hit it from a family's standpoint. First and foremost, I want to say to you that whatever you're going through with it and all, know that the Lord is with you in the midst of it. Yes, it can seem overwhelming at sometimes, can even get to the point that you're wondering, what else can you do? How much of it may be your fault. All of these things can come up, and you may have some people that criticize because they feel like that you're not doing as much as you should, in the midst of it all. But you have to know for an assurance to you. I do want to say this, though, that whoever it is in your family that is going through with a mental health disorder, that we have to remember that they, number one, they do still have their own personal personality. There may be times when they may not comprehend everything that you're saying. You're going to go through a time when they are on their meds and they seem like they're doing okay and they're, on a great recovery. And all of a sudden they decide, I don't want to take them anymore. I'm doing okay. I don't need them, and have a setback. And you have to know that, these times do happen. Can they be discouraging? Yes. But I say to you, it's important that you have a support group that you can work with. I remember, oh Lord, I'm sorry. I remember when I was going through at one point with them going back and forth for the meetings and things. And one thing that was interesting to me that I learned from it was that they had the client to, all the clients were standing around us as family members, and we were supposed to respond to them based on what we heard them say, to write it down on a piece of paper. And I never forgot this, that we didn't know that they were going to have all of them speak at the same time. And at the end, when they got finished, they asked each of us, what did we have? I only caught certain words that any of them said. Somebody else's paper, they didn't have anything at all on. They said, I didn't put down anything. I didn't understand anything that they were saying. Somebody else said, well, I drew pictures because that's what I want to do. So what I'm getting at is, if they're dealing with, and I've had a loved one who had schizophrenia. So there were times when he would say, I'm hearing voices. And I would ask, actually, what are they saying? You can't say to them, oh, please don't worry about that. No, you got to know where they are, be willing to, have patience and endurance with them and work with them, find out, okay, what are they saying? What are you hearing? Sometimes they may be able to explain to you through their babblings what is being said, and sometimes it may not. So you got to allow yourself. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to get frustrated, because you will. Okay, let's just be real. You will, but at the same time, you've got to be able to be very resilient and persistent in it. Yes, there were times that I did have to go to Upper Marlboro and get EPs because they were beyond my care that I could have given them at home. As I said, again, they have personalities. So yeah, some of them can be really calm and just sit and do nothing. Those are the times that you've got to, what I had to do, I'll say this, I had to seek the Lord how to be an encouragement to them at that particular time, because they weren't even able to express how they even felt right at that particular time. So it can be overwhelming sometimes. You can feel like you're at a loss and you just don't know, which way to go. And I say again, those are the times that you really need to have a support group with you, someone that can encourage you through it, walk you through, walk through with you what is going on. because you will feel alone, you feel isolated. Loved ones don't understand, don't want to be bothered, don't want to come around because they don't want to deal with it. Sometimes it can be fear because they don't know what to expect, along with the fact that they don't totally understand it, or haven't taken the time to try and understand what's going on with the individual. I have another loved one that I've had to really be extremely patient with, because the individual, very intelligent, is going to college, all of that, and boom, this happened. So I'm constantly saying to that person, you're a very intelligent individual. I want to remind them that, outside of what you're going through, you still have abilities if you allow yourself. And I could not. We've had loved ones that I heard that were verbally abusive to her because they didn't have patience and endurance with this individual, were constantly putting them down and things. And so they need a lot of encouragement. I don't mean flattery. I mean encouragement of where you see, they're doing pretty good with themselves. To just like we need, encouragement sometimes, they need the encouragement as well. And we need to know that. So what I'm saying is, see that person, if you can, beyond the illness, and see who they are so that you can work with them, that you can be an encouragement to them. Sometimes they with this particular person I'm talking about, they would leave and no one would know where they were. They wouldn't call. They, were irresponsible, and it was overwhelming for the family. So in all of these things, you're going to have endurance, going to have some long suffering with them, and yeah, you'll get to a point where you feel like I just can't do it anymore. I'm very grateful that for the times that I had to call to get the EP, that they were very nice about it when they came to the home. Everyone can't say that. Sometimes it has been a bad situation. So, you need to, with me, I had to learn God to give me wisdom of how to function through this. Because you still have a life. You still got to move on. You still got to be able to do things for yourself in the midst of all of it that's going on. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have a support group, and you feel isolated, and you don't know which way to go and everything. It become to a point that it adds insult to injury in the whole situation. This is something you don't want to have to deal with. You got to know when to step back and just let them be them. You can't make them take their meds. You can encourage them to do so. Learn from what you have gone through with them, so that when they're at a time when they don't want to, you may have to talk to them. What's going on? What's causing you not to want to take your meds? Do you want to recover? Ask questions. You need to be taking, you don't get no recovery. No, you can't go that route, because that pushes them even farther away. That's with any situation, but especially with someone that you're dealing with a mental disorder. Remind them that you love them, because they definitely going to feel unloved. They're going to feel like that nobody cares and nobody. And if we go through that, if we go through those type of times in our lives, and we don't have a mental disorder, imagine what they're dealing with if they do have one. So as I say again, being able to be patient with them, being able to stand with them, being able to just talk about what you yourself are dealing with within it, because you're not going to understand all of it. None of us do, and don't fool yourself because they're going through a good time, and they're on their meds and look like life is going good, and boom, all of a sudden something may happen to trigger them to fall back. So these type of things that we need to be aware of, is when we're dealing with someone or walking through, I should say, I don't want to say dealing with, walking through life with someone that has a mental disorder. Sometimes they may feel like that they have no compassion for other people in the midst of the situations. You have to know that that's part of it. And it's important that one thing that I've learned is to, do some research, because everybody doesn't go through things the same way. So, it's good to have research. So, what can I expect in this? Excuse me. How and who can I reach out to? Because everybody's not going to understand it. Everybody's not going to want to be bothered. I'll just call it like it is, So we have to make sure that, we ourselves, that we do what's necessary in all of it that you're going through. I have to say, yes, the Lord is with you. Do we understand why he's allowed these things? No. But the most important thing that I have learned to do is to trust him in the midst of it. You may have family members that are fearful of them based on some false information that they may have heard, but they're not willing to really talk to you about it. You can't talk to all, and I say it again, to all the family members, because everybody don't understand and don't want to understand. Some don't want to be bothered. Some are not able to endure with you in the midst of what it is that you're dealing with. Those are the main things that I have personally have come to understand and realize in the midst of this is, number one, and in the midst of whatever it is that they're going through with, that they have good days and bad days just like we do. I mean, we have, you may not have a mental disorder. You may be going through with some other type of sickness. And there are times when you feel like you're tired of taking your meds. They do too, but we just see the results of it even more, in situations such as this. There will be times that there can be very cheerful. And as I said, there are times when they may totally shut down. There are times they may seem erratical. But the thing you need to do is work towards having strong endurance and able to go through this trial along with them. To know again that whatever you're going through, that God is with you in the midst of it. And there are resources out there to help you, to be able to know how to work with the individual that is going through this particular situation. Again, can it sometimes be overwhelming? Can it feel frustrated sometimes? I know I'm repeating myself, but I just want to make sure you hear me. Yeah, there will be times that you will feel overwhelmed in the midst of it. That's when you need to reach out to whoever your support group is, so that you yourself don't cause your own self to become so stressed in it that you begin to get sick. Then you're no help to yourself or to the individual. Thank God for being able to share, this little bit with you. Because there may be times in the midst of it also that they don't even comprehend, what you're saying to them, because they're at that erratical moment. Okay. But you got to know how to stay calm in the midst of it, to not add insult to the whole situation. Day by day, it wasn't something that came overnight, and since we are a faith-based organization, I will say this: it took a lot of prayer on my part. It took being able to have my heart open to the Lord to just say, God, I don't know how to deal with this right now, teach me how to endure in it. So it wasn't something that came over. As I said, it did not come overnight. It came with dealing with each day as it came. It came with The endurance came with not setting these false expectations. Oh, you know, they're going to be on their meds. Everything's going to be okay. We're not going to have any problems. No. And so recognizing that each day may bring a different change was one of the things that helped me to be able to endure through the whole thing. You know, being able to, you know, seek God's wisdom. You know, God, how do I handle this one today? So those were the main things that helped me to be able to endure through all of this. Is extremely important in going through these type of situations, and because if you don't have resilience, you're gonna find yourself giving up, get to the point where you don't care, you know, and it puts that individual in a worse situation. Because if you don't have the resilience, then who is? And in that resilience, it helps you as the individual to be able to keep your calmness, your peace, your soundness of mind in the midst of all of it. Feel like, God, where are you? Have you left me in the midst of this? I don't know what to do, excuse me. And so I say to you that, you have to endure. We talk about endure. Endure means to go through your trials and your tribulations, but with conscious power. And whose power is it? There's the power of God that helps us, that gives us the strength and the stamina to be able to go through such things. So, and yeah, there will be times that you feel like you're all alone in this. Okay, but that's when you've got to be able to surrender your feelings, to the Lord, so that He can strengthen you and take you through whatever it is that you're dealing with. You're going through. I do want to give you our information. You see it on the site, but we're at igbatt.com. So and then we do have a number. Oh, I don't have it in front of me. Sister Arnetta, put that one back up for me. The phone number. Okay. So you can find 1-800-216-9015. You can give us a call. And if not, do you have so many different programs that are available? I say to you again, whatever you do in the midst of it, reach out and get in connected to a mental health organization that can help you, that can strengthen you, that can fortify you, because sometimes when you're going through by yourself, you don't know, but when you know that there are others that are going through and they can give you words of encouragement in the midst of what you're going through with, it's like a healing balm to you. So please, whatever you do, don't go through this alone. Get connected. Not just for the sake of your loved one, but for your own mental and emotional well-being.